Ah, yes, Donkehlavania, the most beloved short film franchise on YouTube, created by yours truly, Grimnu89. That's me. Oh, what's that? You've never heard of Donkehlavania? Well, good news. I am breaking down the entire obscure lore of Donkehlavania as its creator, and today we're going to find out what secrets this franchise holds. Before we jump into the lore, let's talk about Donkehlavania just a little bit more. This is a short film series that I had made with some friends many years ago. It started as an inside joke because I had made a little parody song of Megalovania on the piano when I was a freshman in high school. This turned into a whole set of lore that I'd written down. I planned out a whole thing. I only got to do some of it on screen, but I wanted to go over the full lore just to put it out on YouTube because I thought it would be funny. Now, if you want to watch the entirety of Donkehlavania, it's about an hour's worth of content. There's a playlist on the channel in chronological order of the story. Anyways, without further ado, here's the entire obscure lore of Donkehlavania.
Donkey, 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 donkey.
The story begins with a boy named Clamden. He doesn't know it, but he has the ability to write songs that alter reality for the betterment of everyone. This begins with the very first song that he writes that exposes his power, that being Donkehlavania. It's a mix of Megalovania and the character Donkey from Shrek. It kind of has nonsense lyrics, but by doing so, what he wouldn't know is this actually makes the world a better place. It removes a lot of evil and ultimately brings everyone up, including himself. Following this, he would make two more songs, Donkey Rave and Donkey Star. While still just as powerful, they wouldn't be near the level of Donkehlavania. Upon writing all of these, there would be an evil council, which for now we'll just call basically the big bad of the story, and they do not like when good things happen. And so, they needed to put a stop to this kid. They had to beat up this kid. And so that's what they did. They sent their little henchman named Brad.
Donkehlavania 2 Electric Boogaloo, or Donkey 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Donkehlavania 2 opens up a year later from the first one being made. Clamden, knowing that everyone liked the song, just given his interactions with people, knew he should make a second one to make the world a better place. However, when he's about to make it, he's stopped by Brad. And Brad says, "You can't do that." He doesn't really know why, but Clamden tries to fight him, and, well, he loses, so he runs away. Knowing this, Brad stays at his house because he knows he will return, and he's going to kill Clamden. Now, Clemden on the run, fearing for his life, knows that he must go back and defeat Brad. However, he needs some training, and so he goes out looking for someone, he doesn't know what. But that's when he finds one of the most important characters in the series, Kala. He's sort of like a guardian angel, Tom Bombadil from Lord of the Rings type character. Now, what Clemden doesn't know is Kala was actually created by his song, so he literally created this all-powerful character. And to make it even better, this all-powerful character is going to power him up and train him. Now, this would actually take place over several weeks, but because of his time-warping abilities, to Clamden it felt like an afternoon. So after getting a little bit of training up, he has now leveled up his skills and his strength just a little bit, so he heads back to fight Brad. Brad waiting there, ready and more prepared than ever, they go at it. Brad's still way stronger, and so he almost wins. But that's when Clem pulls out one of the most important items that you see a couple of times, which is this infamous pistol. Don't know where it came from, but it one-shots him, so it must be good, right? Now, following this, Clamden would go ahead and write Donkehlavania 2. Now, this would hurt that evil big bad that I mentioned earlier, this whole council of evil people. So, they wanted to put a stop to it for real. So that's when they set out for an ancient weapon to really kill Clamden.
With the death of Vlad, there's so much darkness that COVID-19 has taken over. We need to make Donkehlavania 3, and I need your help. I can do it. It's a deal. It's a deal. We'll meet up at noon on Saturday.
Then comes Donkehlavania 3. Now, a year has passed once again, but in that 1 year, there's been a lot of training and praying to Kala, which is weird because Clamden literally created him. Anyways, he would discover that there's a map he needs to find this ancient weapon that I mentioned just a little bit ago. Now, he would find this map, and while he was analyzing it, that's when we are introduced to two new characters. One is an unnamed henchman. We'll come back to him. The other one is Vlad. Vlad is from that evil big bad council I mentioned before. Unlike Brad, he is much stronger and also much more calculated and a much better fighter. So, Clamden has no chance. And he also gets shot in the foot, and they take the map with them. So Clamden left there with a shot foot. What does he do? He heals up because he has a healing factor that he got because the music he writes is that powerful. Now, using his photographic memory, he would take the map that he remembered and go along his way. Along his way, he would be introduced to two new characters, which would be his best friends. One is a love interest that actually is not his own, but it is for like 5 seconds of this whole short film. But for now, she's basically just called the female. Then we have the hobo, aka unnamed ally, and they just kind of have weapons and want to help out for some reason. Anyways, they travel far and wide.
John. Tell it far and wide.
Very long trip on screen, but once they finally reach there, they are a little bit too late, and we see Vlad taking the weapon. With the weapon in his possession, Vlad has powered up greatly. Now the three of them try to fight him, but alas, they are defeated, and they are on their deathbeds basically, but they say one last little prayer and slash summoning music to get Kala, and Kala shows up. Now Kala absolutely squad wipes Vlad. It is not even fair, and on screen this fight is pretty short, but it actually lasted several hours because Kala just wanted to have fun. So anyways, Vlad is defeated and everything is well. But not really. Right as this ends, Clamden asks Kala to make a song together. Collaboration could make it even more powerful, right? Well, the funny thing is there was an event that caused a nuclear winter, which is why it's always winter for the most part in the Donkehlavania series. Fun fact, we'll get more to that in a second. There's also basically the equivalent of COVID in this universe, but it's actually more like the bubonic plague. Anyways, that's why everyone is wearing masks in Donkehlavania 3 is because of that, and it's not just because that was filmed during COVID times. Now, with COVID around and the nuclear winter, Clamden knows that they must stop it, so he teams up with Kala, and they go ahead and make Donkehlavania 3 together, the most powerful one up to this point. But in between that time, there's a special event that happens. That unnamed henchman that I mentioned earlier would summon Brad again, but I thought he got killed. Wrong. If you notice, that coat he was wearing, which is actually a part of him, sort of like a flesh type thing, because he's not truly human, that was still around. And so Brad is now Dark Brad, and he's stronger than ever. Anyways, Donkehlavania 3 is made, and good things happen. This plague is eliminated, the nuclear winter is starting to resolve itself, and good things are en route.
Showtime.
That's when we reach Donkey Rave Extended Edition. Now this is pretty much just an extended version of the original song, but there's a little bonus teaser at the end for the next thing to come, where Clamden goes, "It's showtime." Now, what this is referring to is Donkey Star Fate of Time, aka the sequel to Donkey Star. Now in this one, it is called that because Clamden must go back in time to prevent the nuclear winter from happening.
Looking for someone?
When the first Donkey Star was made, before Brad had even encountered Clamden, he had started the nuclear winter to offset some of his good doings with his music. So, Clamden in the future decided to go back to stop that. However, he keeps having nightmares that a mysterious figure is killing him. But that doesn't matter, he goes back in time anyways, because he invented time travel. Isn't that awesome, huh? Anyways, this mysterious figure is real. Why he's having nightmares, I don't know, that's just kind of a coincidence. But anyways, this mysterious figure is none other than Dark Brad, that I mentioned before, powered up and stronger than ever. Anyways, after a whole montage of Clamden killing him, he kind of ruined all of space-time because he killed every variant and kind of ruined everything. Also, not to mention, his sister gets slimed out by Dark Brad because, she was helping with the time travel, so that's cool. Little injection in the credits, he's noted as Dark Chad. That was a mistake on my part. He is supposed to be Dark Brad, so yeah. Then with that, Dark Brad leaves him no choice but to watch the nuclear winter still happen. So, Clemens knows what he must do. He must fix the timeline from collapsing in on itself and the nuclear winter by making a new song, and that's what he does. This one fixes everything. It makes one timeline, and he essentially does the whole TVA Loki thing and creates the sacred timeline. Now, isn't that fun, huh? But in doing so, he feels something is off, and that's when he sees that unnamed henchman from before, and he doesn't know what this means. Because of this uncertainty, he sends out a broadcast to all the heroes that he knows, as in his allies, and hopes that they respond because he has a feeling he knows where to go next.
I'm gonna kill you myself, even if it means I die.
And now we're at Donkehlavania 4, the final Chad. Clamden, in this finale, knows something is up, so he goes to the epicenter, aka where the big bad is. The whole time, there's been this council of Chaz, as it's called, and one man was pulling the strings. You can't really call him a man, but we'll get to that in a second. That unnamed henchman this whole time was actually an observer. He was the one pulling the strings. If you notice, there's a few times when you can actually see him watching in Donkehlavania 3. So this whole time, he wanted to take Clamden out. But we're going to find out why. Clamden gets with his squad, and they're going to go face him head on. With their latest gear, weapons, and training, they got this, right? Well, they would find him, and it turns out he is Cain. Like the biblical Cain, he cannot die, and he's a god, and he's evil. Yeah. Anyhow, so Cain wants Clemson to make a song that ends all reality of all time, and that's why he's been trying to find him. He wasn't actually trying to kill him the whole time, he just wanted to capture him and make him a song so he could end his suffering because he's lived forever. So, Clemson's like, nah, why would I do that? So they fight, but Cain absolutely squad wipes, killing both his friends and nearly killing Clamden. But this is where we find an important weapon, the AirPod shotgun, which he would shoot Cain with, which actually hurt him for once, despite a lightsaber not hurting him, and this allowed Clown to get away and train up. Now, after some time, he would train up and get quite a bit stronger, going back, being able to hold his own, but it still wasn't enough. And this is where we get another important character, which is the Guardian Angel. The Guardian Angel is actually a reincarnation of Vlad, but good. Huh. Believe it or not, Donkehlavania 3 also did that. So one of the songs reincarnated an evil villain, but good. So the Guardian Angel fights Cain and dies. We unfortunately don't get the reboot card on that one, but thankfully, the two friends from before, we do get the reboot card on, and that's when we find out a magic spell to, hold Cain into a book. So that's exactly what they do, and they capture Cain, and all is well. Except 8 months later, Clement realized he was lonely, and something still wasn't quite right. So he made one final song, and this would fix all evil in the world. The end. So that's sort of the general overview of the story, but let's break down some of the minor things. Let's start off with some of the weapons and items that you see that just are kind of out of nowhere. First of all, that pistol I mentioned earlier that one-shots people and you kind of see show up. Yeah, that was just formed out of, the kindness of the plot, as in Clamden's song-making abilities. It's kind of cool, I guess. The other one that's most noteworthy is the AirPod shotgun showing up only once, but it's enough to take out Cain and disable him for just a few seconds. So, kind of cool, huh? Now, there's a few other items. You see some returning swords and weapons. These are more than just props, of course. These are obviously key character weapons that are associated with those characters and are very important. Some other noteworthy items also include the apparel. If you notice that there's different coats and jackets that portray sort of armor and also what phase we're in, Clamden gets more and more dark and upgraded to show that he's more serious. And as you can see at the finale, he's not even wearing a coat, which shows that he's finally matured and fully outgrown everything. This goes for some of the other characters, but just a little, fun fact. Now let's talk individual characters. When we talk Clamden, he's literally just the most average boy who played the piano, but he has the magical ability to make songs that alter reality. Next, we have the allies. So first we have Kala. Once again, he was born from the songs that were made, and he's basically an all-powerful god, but he can't always intervene, and he has to be summoned. Like I said, he's more like a Tom Bombadil character, not just there for plot convenience, but sort of just this overarching angel that watches everything that the heroes do. Then we have the female. Now, originally, she was written to have a really dark story, but the truth is, we don't know anything. Then we also have the unnamed ally. Same kind of deal. We just know that he was a hobo originally, so homeless. That's cool, I guess, but now he's not, because he's a hero. Now, for the villains, the Council of Chads consists of a few main guys. You got Cain, aka the final Chad. He is Chad himself. He's the big bad pulling all the strings. Then we have Brad. He's not really a human, but he's basically just dark, evil guy. And he gets reincarnated in a Dark Brad, a more powerful version. Then, of course, we have Vlad, who gets reincarnated into the Guardian Angel. Vlad was a human that was taken over by Cain. And then finally, we have the unnamed henchman who was actually Cain the whole time. He just changed actors. So that's also Chad. It's just his different form. Some honorable mentions for characters, though. We also have to consider the sister of Clemden, who gets slimed out and is in it for like maybe a minute total. She helped with the time travel, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's the obscure lore of Donkehlavania. If you want to check out the series, again, there's a playlist with the chronological order of the story. Not all details are mentioned there, so that's why I'm making this video many years later after making this, just because I've been thinking about it. Anyways, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later.